Melina Hans was confused. At 36, still young and unmarried, she didn't know the trajectory of her life path, although she enjoyed teaching physics to undergraduate students at Imperial College, London. Even as a kid, she loved conducting science experiments, and physics was her favorite subject. Now sitting on a flight to Washington, D.C., she tried to contemplate her life. After her post-graduation, she was surprised to receive a job offer from a reputed organization in Manhattan, United States. Being quite young and career-oriented, she decided to take it despite objections from her parents. That was the first time she visited America. Tagged as weird during her college days, she was bold enough to face the challenges of the world on her own terms. Perhaps that was the reason she accepted the job in Manhattan. During her internship under the guidance of James Bauer, a senior scientist, she did her best to impress him. At just 26 years old, Melina never would have guessed that she would have an affair with the senior scientist. But it happened, and it still annoyed her that she enjoyed that short affair. Somewhere in the back of her mind, she still had that dark desire to continue the affair. She had fallen in love with a scientist who was much older than her, to be precise, 24 years older. Presently, it felt like a forgotten dream. During the course of her one-year internship, and later working as an assistant scientist to James for 5 years meant a lot to her. They did some great research and experiments together. Melina knew that her mentor was a genius, and it showed in his work. Maybe that was the reason she had fallen in love with him. Just like her, he was also termed as a weird scientist by all other employees who mostly worked under his leadership. At least that was a common factor between them. Both were awkward and shy, yet stubborn and persistent in their beliefs. Things began to change after 6 years. To start with, having discovered her affair with the senior scientist, her parents persuaded Melina to resign her job at once and come back home. She would have resisted it if James had supported her. Sadly, that was not to be. James, already married, never stood by her side to accept or continue their affair. He himself had many personal family issues to deal with. His wife, a dominant woman, was diagnosed with cancer, and the doctors strongly advised James that it was time his wife needed all his attention and care. Considering the same, James apologized to Melina and suggested that it would be in their best interest if both moved on in their personal lives. Dejected, Melina soon resigned and went back home. Her parents, who were so adamant about her marriage, had died in an accident soon after 4 months of her arrival. And for those 4 years, Melina neither married nor dated anyone. Soon after her return, she joined the Imperial College in London and worked as a teacher. It was most surprising when she received a call from the White House yesterday morning. The officer identified himself as the Chief of Staff of the White House and informed her that she was immediately wanted at the White House. On further inquiry, he revealed that they were offering her a confidential job as a scientist, and she would be considered a permanent employee working as an executive office of the President at the White House henceforth. Most shockingly, the Chief of Staff informed her that she would be working under the payroll of the President, present and future. Furthermore, the Chief strongly declined to give more information and requested her to be present at a covert meeting set up tomorrow at 10 a.m. inside the White House. Curious, Melina booked the flight and now was flying, sitting inside it.